Hello and welcome. My name is Mohammed Atif, founder of InfoSec for Training and Consulting, aka InfoSec for TC. And this will be the first session in a series where we will teach you how do we implement and manage cybersecurity in real organization. The only way to learn cybersecurity and get the knowledge is to practice that in a real environment. Is not to watch videos or online courses or get certifications. This will give you the basic knowledge. But if you have a chance to implement the skills or to know how do we implement cybersecurity or how do we manage cybersecurity in a real organization, this actually will give you the realistic experience. And it will allow you to write in your resume that you do have experience realistically. Because sometimes the knowledge is quite straightforward, but the implementation has a lot of elements, has a lot of details, has a lot of challenges. So getting to know the implementation part, the challenges during the implementation, how do we implement cybersecurity in big organizations and how do we implement it in small or medium organizations. This will give you the hands-on, and this is what do you need to be able to join the field of cybersecurity. So instead of giving you pass and you have to take this certificate and you have to take this training and this, no, let me share with you real projects, real experience, and show you how we are doing it in real organization. InfoSec has been in the market for a while, and we have different kind of cybersecurity projects. And those projects was not only in one country, did many projects in different countries. So we went through the process of following and complying with the regulation in Europe or in US or related to specific sectors like healthcare or finance or oil and gas. So we will share with you this experience in a way that you will start learning how the process is done realistically. And how we're going to do that? We will align whatever skills we will teach you in this series with a real job description. So, for example, if we are talking about creating a disaster recovery for an organization, it's not enough to tell you what is a disaster recovery or a business continuity, but we need to see how we are doing that realistically. How, what kind of information do you need from the organization to be able to conduct the business continuity or disaster recovery or cyber resilience? If we are talking about managing security tool like antivirus or like firewall or like cryptography, it's not enough to watch a video, but you need to manage a real enterprise antivirus in a real organization. How it get managed? What do we mean by managed? What are you monitoring? What action do you need to take if a problem happens? If we are talking about vulnerability management and vulnerability assessment, we need to see how it's done realistically. So the main idea here is to be able to write some skills in your resume in a realistic way, not in a theoretical way. Now, during this session, there are going to be a lot of resources. So there are going to be templates for risk, template for policy, template for business continuity and disaster recovery. There are going to be a lot of templates that we will use to show you how we are doing that. And we're going to use cases to practice. Those templates are available for free on our website. So if you go to infosec4tc.com and go to free resources, all the templates that I will explain will be found there. So all you have to do, if you need any of the templates that we're going to use, to go there and download it. Moving back to the idea behind this program, what kind of project are we going to learn? And what kind of company are we going to practice on? The projects that we will do will not only be projects, it's going to be projects like standard and compliance implementation, things like ISO 27001 implementation. How do we do that in a real organization? Or NEST or PCI DSS. We will take also some local governance and compliance, like, for example, GDPR or ISR or NISA. We will also cover operational activity. For example, managing security systems. How do we manage the DLP, for example? How do we manage the antivirus? How do we manage vulnerability assessment? We will cover some of the critical requirement in business right now, like data classification. What is data classification and how it get implemented in the first place and what kind of tools we can use. Same go for the DLP. Same go for the same solution. So any topic that we will cover will not just be a high level topic or just a discussion and showing you a couple of screenshots. It will be the topic and how it get implemented and what are the dependency on the organization. I mean, if we have a project to implement ISO 27001 in a big organization, would it be the same like implementing ISO 27001 in a startup? If you have a project to implement NEST in healthcare, would it be the same if we're going to implement NEST in a finance entity? So we have to align that with some real use cases to make things more clear for you. So I hope this series will be informative, and I will try my best to make it realistic, not theoretical. And let's move to the first project that we will implement and explain how it will be done. My first project, and I always focus on this specific project because it includes all security domains, will be how do we implement ISO 27001 2022 on a real organization. How we get an organization qualified to get the ISO certificate. I will not spend time explaining what is ISO. It's an international standard, well recognized. I will not explain the value of the certificate. You can do your own research. But what I will say is that the ISO 27001, which is a information security framework that you can implement in any organization, include all kind of control, not only technical controls, because a lot of people, when it comes to security, they think about implementing technical controls that will do it. Creating a password, encryption, this is security. No, this includes all different domains. We will go through them in a minute, but this will include administrative controls like policy, procedures, risk. It will include physical controls. It will include technical controls. So whenever you have a chance to implement ISO 27001 in an organization, you will really get some good hands-on because you're going to implement all kinds of security controls. So what is ISO in the first place and what do you need to know about ISO? ISO, as I just mentioned, is an international standard and it's a risk-based standard. What do we mean risk-based standard? It means that it works on identifying the risk in any organization and implementing the controls accordingly. Now, our company that we will do that, we will implement this standard on it, going to be an insurance company. We have an insurance company, it's a mid-sized company. They have like 6-7 departments, and they wanted to implement ISO 27001 to be able to secure their process and information and critical business function. Okay. So ISO, it's not a big document, it's only like 27 pages, and it consists of two different parts. One part is called clauses, and we're going to talk about that later. And the second part is called Annex A. And this part include all the standard, all the controls that you need to implement. So if I go to Annex A, just to have an idea about the standard and what exactly I will do in this insurance company, you will find that Annex A consists of 4 different domains. Now it's important to understand what I'm going to explain right now before talking about the company and what do they have, and then try to see how we will implement those controls inside the insurance company. So here we have 5 different domains and 93 controls. So first we have the organizational control. The organizational controls are all the controls related to the full organization. For example, creating a policy and procedures. This will not be applicable on only one person or one department. This should be applicable on all the organization. For example, the inventory of information asset, having a list of all the information or all the information asset inside the organization. This is, it's not one department responsibility, it's everyone's responsibility. For example, data classification. All information in this insurance company should be classified. How do we classify that? What tool are we using? How this get implementing realistically? This will be explained. Okay. And as you can see, the control is very, very brief. That's why when you want to learn how to implement ISO, and this will be only our first project, you have to know how can I translate these brief controls to a real activity. And then the second domain will be people controls. And people controls, from its name, it's the controls related to people. So for example, awareness for people, background verification before they get hired, signing a non-disclosure agreement, having a proper job description. Who is doing that? I mean, is it IT? Is it HR? This is what you will learn. How to identify each department role and responsibility from the standard. And then we have the physical control. And I believe this is quite clear what is a physical control. It's more about securing the premises physically, the data center, the premises, working area, and so on. And fourth and last one is the technical control. And the technical control is, the most straightforward control, having protection against malware, data protection, protection against data leakage, access control, backup, information backup. All technical controls are kept here. So the point here is that if you get a chance to implement those standards inside a real organization, you will actually learn the full information security framework, technical and non-technical. And this is what you need. And if you do that realistically in a real environment, you will see that a lot of point in the job description has been covered. You will know how to create policy and enforce information security policy and create procedures. You will know how to create a business continuity and disaster recovery, how to manage security tools, because most of those activities are already requirement of the ISO 27001. So let's go through the project, and what I will do, I will upload the company profile on the portal, and I will upload a list of all the security controls on our free resources portal. And next session, we will explain from where should we start.